Thank you. Number 2, adoption of the agenda. We are going to, with the board's blessing, strike HMA monthly report from the work study, number 5, and that'll be added to our next regular meeting on the 22nd. Any other changes or requests for?
Yeah, I would like to pull from the consent agenda item number 6D, travel.
Anything else? I'll make a motion to approve, to adopt the agenda with the removal of the HMA item on the work study and taking travel out of the consent agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Call to the public. Members of the board may not discuss items that are not specifically identified on the agenda. Therefore, pursuant to ARS 38-431.01H, action taken as a result of public comment will be limited to directing staff to study the matter, responding to any criticism, or scheduling the matter for a future agenda. The board requests that all comments be limited to 3 minutes or less, and that the public refrain from the use of speech or language that is offensive or inappropriate pursuant to board policy KFA. We have a couple speaker cards. First is Julia Gussie to discuss the Operation Welcome Home.
Good evening, board members and members of the audience. I am here to solicit your help and the school district's help and all the students and the parents and the teachers to see if we could get members from the public that are returning home from operations that have been overseas. I'm the commander for the American Legion here in Maricopa. I'm also a council member. The city does acknowledge quarterly members that are coming back to our community. Operation Welcome Home was adopted about 4 months ago, and we were able to acknowledge one family, one military member that returned. We'd like to acknowledge as many of them that are returning back, so I'd like to see if there's anyone out there that knows of someone that's coming back to the community, if they could please contact Paul Jepson with the City of Maricopa so that we may acknowledge them. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Joe Veras.
Good evening, President Bartle, Vice President Anderson, Governing Board members. I am Joe Veras, the principal of Desert Wind Middle School, and I am honored and pleased to introduce these two famous gentlemen, Mr. Michael Russinello and Mr. William Lane.
Hi, I'm Mike Russinello. This is Mr. Willie Lane, and we are proud teachers at Desert Wind Middle School. This past fall, we signed up for a grant opportunity. It was a long shot, and needless to say, we had a great cause, and our kids really rose to the challenge, and we created a video. We were one of 1,500 applicants that moved on to the next phase. We became one of 24 schools to move on. From that, we had to create a video, and the video is now online. We've gone from one of 24, just winning a laptop and a camera, to one of 12, and we've won $70,000 for our school district. We're very proud of that.
Nice.
It's a great opportunity. We're not done yet. We still need a lot of help. We're going from 1 of 12, and our goal is to make the top 5. If we make the top 5, it becomes a $100,000 opportunity for our school district. If we are the popular choice, it becomes $110,000. So we're proud of this opportunity and proud of our kids in our school. So I just thought I'd come and share this opportunity with you guys and share the video as well.
Great.
And by the way, no way would this ever have been possible if it wasn't for Mr. Lang's skills, talents, knowledge. Just a fantastic teacher and a fantastic, you'll see his work right here. It's amazing. So I'm very...
Again, it wasn't just me. It was students. It was the whole thing.
It really was.
So if you can watch it.
There should be sound right here.
No sound? Sound?
It really does have sound, I promise.
I don't know, silent films are making a comeback, so maybe.
Anyway, well, you can access this through, if you Google Samsung Solve for Tomorrow, You can see Desert Wind right there. You'll be able to see this video along with the other 12 contestants and vote and register for as many email addresses as you have. So once a day, every day until March 12th.
And you can get to the voting site from, again, going to Samsung. You can go to the Desert Wind website. It's right on the front page. We're hoping to get it very soon on the district website. And again, all your help would be greatly appreciated. Tell your friends, friends, everyone that you can, because every vote counts. And you know, we're right in the middle. We need that push to get into that #1 spot. So we're hoping, you know, to get Maricopa. We are the only school in Arizona, you know, 1 of 12. So we're hoping to get. There we go.
Hair sound.
We're hoping to get, you know, help from into, you know, Phoenix and.
Jack, can you rewind it?
While he's doing
Start that over?
I'm also trying to encourage people to.
I mean, fast forward this.
I'm also encouraging people to, when they vote, you can upload it to your Facebook, and please encourage your friends to also upload it to your Facebook as well. The more people voting, the better.
President Bartle, is it possible that this can get on our education channel, 18 for Orbital?
I think that the district was going to put it everywhere, anywhere and everywhere they can. So absolutely, add that, make sure that's added to the list of sources if you would, guys.
Fantastic.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Exciting.
Congratulations.
Thank
Great job, and thanks for taking the initiative on making that happen. Well done. Is there anybody else who'd like to address the board? The superintendent's report. Mr. Beckett?
Don't get comfy.
President Bartles, member of the governing board, I believe we have a special feature tonight. The first time, Dr. Connolly actually will be addressing us virtually through a web link here, I believe. Hopefully.
have sound.
Here we go.
Good evening, MUSD Governing Board President,
Questions? No?
Let's get on the phone.
Don't mind.
Thank you, Dr. Conley. Mr. Beckett, do you have anything to add to that?
I do not.
Okay, thank you. Number 4, Governing Board Member Activity Reports.
Well, I was very honored to be able to go to 3 of the elementary schools for the walk to read, and I got to read to 3 kindergarten classes, which was awesome. And from what I heard, the results were amazing for our district. We surpassed our goal. And for me, it's a lot of fun because my kids, they're at the age now where they don't like me to read to them anymore. I tried with Kevin. He just won't let me do it. But that was fun. And then this afternoon, Mr. Veras, Mr. Abel, Mr. Ames, Mr. Lang gave me a tour of what's coming up, what they're going to be presenting tonight, the 20+1. I had lots of questions, and they answered them. So it was amazing.
Mr. Irving.
Yeah, I too visited 3 schools. I recruited my neighbor, 2 neighbors and my wife, and their comments were, why is this only once a year? So I'm pleased they're all going to be volunteering over there 3 days a week at Santa Rosa, working with kindergarten kids, and my wife, who's a former kindergarten teacher, has been running around buying supplies. But yeah, I just thought it was wonderful, and I was just glad that people say we want to do this more. So I mean, that's just an example of 2 people who have now committed to spend at least 2-3 days over there at Santa Rosa. So I'm just hoping that people get excited like that because they had such a wonderful, wonderful experience doing it.
And I'll add that I think it's really a great experience for us in particular, but for everybody to make sure, who doesn't deal with the kids every day, to be able to have some time to remember and take in perspective what it is that we're doing and why we're doing it.
Exactly.
Especially the kids that age. It's a lot of fun. They're actually appreciative, right? So.
I got a thank you card from one of the classes.
Anything else from other board members?
I just wanted to share with the rest of everyone, too. I did also read to the kids on that day, and I picked a book about a dog who needed to learn how to read, and it's been such a long time since I read to a child. I sounded like I needed to learn how to read. But I kept the same book through each classroom, and as I read the story, I got better and better. So it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, and I do hope we can continue doing something a little bit more often than that.
It was fun. It was a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot.
And we're all improving our skills in the process.
Exactly.
That's
We're learning how
excellent.
to read.
I would once again like to welcome Council Member Gussie as well as Chairman Manuel for being here. Thank you very much. And let all of you guys know that I have a copy of the ASBA annual report from last year, so if you want to take a look at that, it's here. And I'd like to also just take a moment to read some excerpts from an email that the board got from one of our former parents, because I thought it really exemplified what it is that we're trying to accomplish as a district and our vision of being Maricopa unified and being an entire community dedicated to student success. Throughout this email, he provided us some constructive feedback about the experience that his son had, which was terrific. But I'll just go ahead and read you some of the things that struck me that I'd like to share with you. He says, I like living here in Maricopa. I love my home and I love the feel of community I experience in Maricopa as a small town. I have no plans to move for at least 10 years. There are many factors that determine the value of a home and the real estate in every town, city, suburb, etc. But by far, the school district and its performance is a major contributing factor. He says, I'm sharing this, this constructive criticism with you because I care for Maricopa. I love living here. I love my home. My vision for this town is long-term, but we've got to improve the school system. This is not my expertise. However, I'll do everything in my power to support the local school system, whether or not I have children attending. It is critical to the success and prosperity of our city. I'm committed to see the city and the schools succeed. What can I do? How can I make a difference? I have no idea of the internal issues and political nonsense you may have to navigate, but I think many agree that it is time to get over it get down to business, and build a strong, solid, successful school district from the ground up. Let's roll up our sleeves and get to work. And thank you, Mr. Davis, for your comments. And again, just that perspective of somebody saying, hey, what can I do to help, even though they're not here at the moment as a direct constituent of ours, but recognizing that when Maricopa schools win, the whole city of Maricopa wins. So thank you for allowing me to share that with you. Work study. Mr. Beckett?
Thank you. President Bartle, members of the governing board. Dr. Connolly, I presented some information to Dr. Connolly in regards to how we are compensating our nationally board certified teachers. And she had asked that I went ahead and forward that information to you so that you could see. The Washington School District actually had done a two-part study, one in the spring of 2011, and then did a follow-up study in January of 2012. And I believe one of the spreadsheets was included in your packet. There is a second one that we'll need to get to you, but much of this information was duplicated on that second spreadsheet as well. One of the things that we wanted to point out is the district is competitively aligned with many other school districts in the state with the amount of money we are paying to those nationally board certified teachers. It's good to see that we are being competitive. It represents really the gold standard in the teaching profession, nationally recognized, universally accepted. It's a tremendous honor. We have 3 teachers presently in the district. We just had a 4th that just received that, Margaret Bryant from Dr. Flores at Santa Cruz Elementary School. And we're real excited about her. I believe she was featured in a number of different media articles. But again, it's quite an accomplishment for these teachers to go through this process and attain this credential.
Any questions?
No questions, just a favor to ask. Can we do a celebration of all the teachers that are national board certified and have them come to a board meeting and kind of acknowledge them? It is it's a very rigorous curriculum that they have to go through to be certified, and I think it's a great accomplishment, and I think we would, if that's something we could do. I know there's about 4 more that are getting ready to take their test, so
Absolutely.
we could do that. I think sometime before the school gets out. Does that give you enough time to?
Yes.
Do we pay those stipends in a lump sum, or is that added to their, proportionally to their paychecks?
There are some options. They can take that in a lump sum, or they can take it incrementally over their entire pay. Yes.
We might make that celebration a check celebration as well, a check presentation. So, or for future years if it's...
We'll research it. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, sir.
It is expensive for the teachers to do that, and it is out of their own pocket. So it's an amazing, for them, I think it's great.
Thank you, Mr. Beckett. Update on secondary restructuring?
Here it is.
Thank you. We are very excited to present this to you. We've had many discussions about restructuring and basically new opportunities. We decided to come together and really look at some innovation that we has been a district initiative. One of the questions that we always get when we're planning is how long are you planning? For this, we've been planning for quite some time. We've covered all our bases. We went to ADE to make sure that this would work, and they had approved it.
We brought it to our Student Recruitment and Retention Committee. They approved it. We had a community member luncheon, and we had these discussions. Leadership input, staff input, we've done our best to cover our bases. We haven't answered all the questions, but we're at least in the right path. It has brought us to a brand new shift, a paradigm of something that is truly different, not only for Maricopa, but something that is occurring across the country, and Maricopa will have the opportunity to lead that. We have come up with MUSD 20+1 because you're the one that matters. And we really wanted to start to look at 21st century learning. We have our students that come to us as a digital native. They want all these different technologies, but they still want the face-to-face instruction with teachers. And we've brainstormed this since its inception. The purpose of MUSD 20+1 is compiling both individualized and personalized education and allowing that technology to integrate into there with effective and efficient face-to-face instruction as well. When looking at it, in order to be successful, we have to be able to move into the 21st century classroom. The 21st century classroom is fluid and flexible. It's paced by the student. It unfolds the potential. Technology assists with data, analysis, and relevancy. It engages and connects the community to the learner. Individualized plans for each student. Teaching focuses on inquiry and integration, and staff continuously interacts with one another and students. In brainstorming on how we're going to do this, we came to one big notion of blended learning. And blended learning is that mixture of technology integration and face-to-face instruction. And I won't read all these to you verbatim, but I will give you just some important tips from it. Blended learning supports differentiated strategies and enrichment. Blended learning adheres to our digitally native students. Blended learning allows personalized instruction. Blended learning contributes to higher academic achievement. Blended learning offers flexibility due to technology and face-to-face instruction. Blended learning adapts to mirror our students' outside lives. It is effective. Blended learning promotes an improvement to traditional methods. And most importantly, it provides the skills needed for the 21st century learners. One of the big questions has been with funding, because it has a cost associated with it. The district is prioritizing its funds. It is an initiative that everybody is guiding to, and we'll use those to prioritize those funds to make it possible. Currently looking where to place this. 6 through 8 would be at Maricopa Wells, and if you're familiar, it is the B building, which would be the students with disabilities. We are planning with Dr. Marshall to move that, if so be. The 9th through 12th blended environment would stay at Maricopa High School. The benefit of this program and the school is for that personalized and individualized education. It assesses students' current development. We will develop a plan to meet the students' needs for every student. We will meet with staff, students, and parents and guardians regularly. We will align their needs to the Education and Career Action Plan, which is ECAP, and we will monitor and adjust those plans accordingly throughout the year. This would be a very sample, or one of the samples for a student's daily schedule. The benefit of blended learning, there is no correct model. Every student's schedule could look vastly different. This is just one where there is a mixture between technology and face-to-face instruction. The benefit of using Maricopa Online, the Dreambox, these different softwares and curriculum programs that we have is we can adapt it to kids and their needs immediately. Most importantly, we'll be able to segregate the data immediately, and we'll be able to identify the student's strengths and weaknesses and intervene as needed. If you notice, there are elective offerings, that is online and offline. With Maricopa Online, we are savvy to a plethora of electives that we wouldn't be able to have before. We can have agricultural classes. We could offer 36 different foreign languages. And kids still have the opportunity to do offline electives. With it being at Maricopa Wells, if a student wanted to take PE, they could still travel over to the traditional school and do PE. If they were a band student, they could still take band. We would just work that in their individualized plan to accommodate their schedule. Currently for enrollment, we're looking at servicing 90 students next year, 6th through 8th grade. This would be an enrollment application due to a lottery. Family members of the MUSD staff would be entitled to placement prior to the lottery. Questions and comments, please.
Not at this time. It sounds exciting. I mean, I'm looking forward to hearing more details. How the whole lottery is going to work.
We know we have some issues still with transportation. I know that was one of the things that we always hear back is how are we going to transport these students? We won't be able to answer that until we offer that enrollment application. We go through the lottery and we see where our kids are being picked up or delivered from. I do want to thank Mr. Laguna. He has been more than receptive in trying to determine a plan to get that resolved.
What do you anticipate the demand being in this first year?
From some of the emails that I received, probably more than what we're offering.
Mr. Irving?
Yeah, I've
Sorry.
got a couple. What's your administrative program design? I mean, do you see there's going to be an administrator over it, and the counseling component? Because I think it's vital that you do workups on the kids based on what you just said, which I think is excellent individual instruction. How do you see, in other words, what's the oversight for this group? I mean, they can be tied in to the regular counselors, all those things. Sort of a program administrative design.
Administratively, I believe we're looking at having somebody oversee both
Okay.
campuses
Right.
at one time, but also offering kind of like an assistant principal / teacher at each individual site,
Okay.
and then having the teachers, the highly qualified teachers there, I think 4 or 5 per site. The benefit of being on campus, if we needed to work with the counselors, we can go to the counselors that are on that campus. We think that's a very important part of that. We've also looked at down the road offering a position for grants,
Okay.
so we can have a grant writer that's actually housed in that area as well.
Have you looked at any measurable goals as far as rigor and expectation out of it, tracking for a couple of years, things like that, so you have benchmarks to know where you need to tweak and where you don't need to tweak?
I think that's one of the benefits of being innovative here.
Mm-hmm.
We have the ability to stand above the rest, per se. There is a lot of moving into the blended learning environment. There's a lot of questions that cannot be answered because it is newer. The information that we are finding, we are researching that it is effective, but there are going to be roadblocks along the way. The benefit for us is working with a school within a school, we can remove a lot of those. But when we're looking at growth of our kids and growth of the program, we're going to be able to identify how students are performing on a daily basis. One of the constraints that we run into now with traditional models is you come into a classroom with 30 kids, you have 30 different needs in a given setting. Now we'll be able to identify those immediately, begin a plan for them, and also integrate that face-to-face instruction.
And then the last one, there's some really outstanding blended virtual schools around the country. I think it would really be worthwhile. I don't know if you've visited any of them, just to get a feel, to ask questions, because they're all over the place. And I just think that might be worthwhile.
We were waiting to present to you. After tonight, we have planned to travel to Yuma,
Okay.
to go to Carpe Diem. It has been voted
Yeah,
one of
that's-
the top
that's a good
high
one.
schools in the country, and they're really the founders of blended learning. Also, Willis Junior High in Chandler has started a blended learning environment. They've run into some different issues. It'd be nice to go there to see some of the conflicts.
Yeah, I
they've
think that
had.
would really be well worth the money to send a team down there to look and see, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. That's a good idea.
And another benefit of us establishing that, we will get a lot of people coming here to see what Maricopa is doing.
Yeah, because usually if you get a grant and you accept yourselves as a model site, that means, yeah, they'll pay to have those people, and that's great exposure for you and the district, so that's good.
I have one question. When will you know what the cost is for this?
Hopefully
That's the
soon.
biggest question, okay.
I know we're looking at,
Concerned with funding, that's my, I
And
just
that-
don't want to take away from, you know,
that's our
other
concern as well.
areas, okay.
If this program is as effective as you think it's going to be, and funding issues aside, what's the long-term rollout? What's the 10-year plan for implementation?
Continue to grow it. Continue to grow it, and hopefully have that sense of urgency always. We like the idea of kind of limiting those numbers at first. Again, we're trying to draw back those students that we have lost, and incorporating something that's innovative like this, we will start to get some of those kids back, but then we have to begin planning for, well, now we have more and more students that are wanting to get into this program, and that's a nice bridge to cross when we get there.
Yeah, I think it's also good to sell it, to track those kids through high school, because I think the rigor could just continue, and it's like building a 6-7 year continuum. And talking about a selling project for everybody, if we can show that we can continue those all the way up through high school, and even, because I know the state universities will buy into it, so really you're buying in from a 6 through 16 program, which is outstanding, so.
I have one question. Just one this time, promise.
Thank you.
When are you going to get those applications out? I mean, parents are starting to look at where they're going to send their kids, if they're going to pull them, what schools they're going to be going to. When would those applications?
I believe on the next board meeting, we'll be looking to approve this restructuring.
And just one of the many questions that I had for Mr. Veras this afternoon was if this was going to be like an emplacement of an honors program, and he assured me that this isn't. This is going to be, when they say lottery, it is going to be for every student that applies. And it was explained to me very well that, they do have the RTI now, but they'll be able to closely track the students and the progress, and if there is a time where they're not falling behind, they shouldn't be there's a faster catch and more instruction that would be face-to-face with the teacher. And I really wanted to just make sure that that was clear, that people knew that this wasn't a replacement for the honors program or AP classes or anything like that. This has been an addition to.
Just one point of clarification. In working with Ms. Salai at the high school, we already have kind of a pilot, if you will, program with a blended learning model in our program for our students in the EDP program. There are computers there that Mr. Nielsen helped us get through the Arizona Strut with cooperation through technology. So we've got kids, because it's so very, very, very difficult to find a teacher who is highly qualified in all four core content areas in order to teach in a self-contained ED type of a program. We have Mr. Gomez basically is the facilitator of 4 core content area courses that is partnered with like the MOL. So the kids are getting their core content online, but then they also have the facilitation of the teacher and the behavior techs that are in the program. And so far the kids are very engaged. They really like learning at their own pace. They like learning their curriculum going quicker at their grade level, because we've got 9th through 12th grade that could technically be in that classroom. And this way it is all very, very much individualized. They still get their social skills. They still are able to go out into the campus if they've earned that ability to take general education electives, those kinds of things. And so far, it's actually worked out very, very well, and we've got actually 2 of our kiddos that will actually be graduating this year. And we're really excited because they've come from a setting outside of the district, back into the district, and now they're actually going to be able to graduate from Maricopa High School with achieving their goals. And so this blended model is working really well for those kinds of kiddos as well.
Great job. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's it for the work study, correct, Mr. Beckett?
Yeah.
Anything else?
Is that it for work study?
Yes, that is. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion
Second.
by Mr. Irving, seconded by Mrs. Anderson. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 60, travel. Approve travel for Desert Wind Middle School 8th graders to Knott's Berry Farm in Bueno Park, California.
Yeah, I just had a couple of questions. I'm all for 8th grade trips. I remember way back when, even in the dinosaur age, I used to, look forward to that 8th grade trip too. But is this trip open to every student, or do they have to have a certain grade point average, attendance record? Is there going to be any restrictions or qualifications that they have to meet in order to be a part of this?
Students do have to maintain academic and discipline integrity in order to go.
And what would that entail? Or is that subjective?
No, I think we had everything. We may not have gotten to you, but we put everything into a packet of all the requirements that a child would have to fulfill in order to go.
Okay. And the other question is, this is such a quick turnaround trip. Were you looking at doing overnight? I mean, because this is like real quick.
The students were terrified to come and present to the board.
Not that bad.
They want to, but they know that in order to do that, there's some other responsibilities that they have to fulfill. We have to have way more chaperones. It may increase the cost. With all the fundraisers they're doing, I can't imagine that they would not cover the cost. They just kind of need a little bit of guidance of, hey, it will be okay if you decide to stay overnight, as opposed to basically driving 24 hours straight.
And the kids so they're going to be gone, they're not missing any school, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Darn it.
They tried. They tried. I wouldn't let
That was part
them.
of the plus of going.
Yeah, why go?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that was all I had.
Well, if we start talking about staying overnight, I'm sure they're going to ask for the day before when we're actually in school.
Yeah. No, those are a couple of the questions that I had. I'm all for it. I just wanted to see
I
what
can definitely bring that back to you.
I'd just like to add, I took that trip just a few decades ago as well. And my recollection was, it was, hey, be back at the bus by midnight in one piece. And when I read the description of how you guys are doing it with all the learning opportunities affiliated with it, I thought that was super cool.
Yeah,
Very neat. It's not just go out and
It's not just a fun trip.
whoop it up,
Yeah,
but there's some education
some-
elements to it, and I thought, kudos to you for that. That was really cool.
Good job.
Is there a motion to approve?
I move that we approve the travel.
Seconded by Mrs. Anderson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Have fun.
Yeah, that's going to be next.
7E, discuss and approve personnel schedule, which includes resignation, reclassification, stipends, new position requests, employment ratification, and leave of absence FMLA. Mr. Beckett?
Thank you. President Bartle, members of the governing board, you have in front of you the personnel schedule for tonight. If you have any questions, I'll entertain them at this time.
Surprising enough, no.
It's a miracle.
There's a motion by Mr. Irving
I'll
to
second.
approve this item, seconded by Mrs. Carlisle Burnett.
I did, yes.
All in
I did.
favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item
Thank you.
7F, discuss and possibly approve the Air Force IROTC Marksmanship Program. Major Alonso?
Good evening. All the information's been provided, but I thought I'd come here and answer any questions you may have. As you all know, we did receive a NRA grant to fund the program.
Did you bring the gun tonight?
No.
No, I mean, I know I've seen it, I just didn't know if anybody
No, I
else
didn't bring it
was.
again.
You wanted to
Any
shoot it,
questions
didn't
for
you,
Major Alonso?
Where would the range be? Where would they be doing
We've
this?
discussed a couple possibilities. One would be in the old gym, and the other discussion was the possibility of being by the baseball field where that berm is. My preference would be in the old gym.
Yeah, that would be easier to clean up pellets too.
Yeah. Well, there's no cleanup with the pellets. The way the targets are set is there's a catch in it, and so
If they hit the target.
they will.
You have
The-
full faith of our team. Of course they do. They're going to be state
The target stand is 26 by 66 inches. It's a double sheet of plywood with sheet metal in between. That's a huge backboard. And then the targets are the 10-meter targets for air rifle that is used in the Olympics. Those are small.
Yeah, they are small. Couple questions.
Yes, ma'am.
And yes, you have answered everything. I really appreciate the questions. Couple of clarifications. On the questions, it says, how will staff be able to know the difference between the air rifle and the real rifle? You stated in here just other schools market. What do you plan on doing to make that clarification?
Okay. There's a number of possibilities. First of all, as I showed you the rifle last board meeting,
Yeah.
we put what's called a clear barrel indicator into the rifle, which is a brightly colored, it's a weed whacker
Weed
cord.
whacker cord.
Right. And so that is sticking through any time you're carrying it. That makes it readily identifiable. Number two, what some of the schools do is they'll put a piece of fluorescent tape on the side of the barrel.
So is that what you're going to do, or you know,
We agree on the color, that sort of thing.
pink?
That's fine.
Oh, yeah.
So, that's something we can decide on
Okay.
down the road.
Okay, but there, as long as there's clearly marked.
It's identifiable.
Okay. And then where on you have the marksmanship program regulations, is that what you're referring to as the regulations that had to be attached to the policy, JICI, because it was?
The regulations that we follow on the shooting program is a national standard that's established by the Civilian Marksmanship Program, and it's been adopted by AIA and most of the other states. And it's a very set process where the student has to pass an 8-hour course on safety. They don't even handle the rifle until they've gone through half of the course, and then the other half is familiarizing themselves with the handling of the rifle, the proper handling. And then after that, they have to pass a test at 100%. If they don't, they go back to the training before they even fire.
Right, I'm just, per our policy, a regulation needs to be attached to the policy to allow any gun on campus. So my question was, I don't see it in the packet. All I see is the marksmanship program regulations. Is that what you're calling, is that the attachment that's going to go to the policy? Because that's my concern with.
Put that standard as a regulation within as a regulation to the policy, exactly how that's written.
The way this is written, the marksmanship. Okay, that was my question. So it'll be labeled and put into the policy that will have to be in there. Okay, that was my only concern, was our policy has to be follow protocol. So that was my concern. So that was it. Okay.
Any other questions?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here and for your extra due diligence through this process. Appreciate your patience with us.
I'm excited about it.
Great.
Move approval of the AFJROTC marksmanship program.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
6:48.